done this 5 years ago had I known.
Did you take yourself out of it? Because it's
Yeah.
been almost 20 years.
Well, it's actually
Yeah, I mean, you
been,
did other things. I know that.
Yeah, 20 since I started. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like saying, have you stopped doing,
Yeah.
late night television.
How long since you really just said, that's it, I don't want to sing anymore, I don't want to be a TV popper, bubblegummer?
I made my last album in 1978, and what I did was, I'm dying here.
Here.
No, I'm all right. I'm all right.
That's clean.
It's clean?
Yeah. Well, you never know these days. Go on.
I stopped in 78, my last album, and in 75, I did a world tour, and I basically said, that's it, I'm not going to tour anymore.
Why?
Well, it was...
I read an article where you said, I read an early article where you were in Rolling Stone, you said, I love this, I can't wait to get on stage, I love my people.
Yeah.
Did it just wear off?
The stage part was great, performing was wonderful, but unfortunately, there were 23 hours in the day that I had to go through, and it was such madness by the time I actually got on stage and went out. You know, I was taking 40 people with me. There were people camped out on my doorstep, and I had to get in and out of buildings like in the trunks of Toyotas. Really a glamorous life, can I tell you?
Then why do you want to come back? Did you make enough money not to come back?
No. In fact, I was driving a bus the last 4 or 5 years, and I...
That's where I saw it.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it.
It's not about money. It was really something that I've always loved to do. I've been a songwriter, and something that I...
You wrote for Cher, didn't you?
Well, I have a song... Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
I have a song that I wrote that she's cutting on her next album.
Very exciting.
And it is exciting, yeah. I have a song also on the new Asia album. But it's something I didn't stop doing. I just took myself out of the public eye. So when people refer to this as my comeback, I guess it is in a sense that...
You're going back into the...
I'm coming back in the music business. I left the mainstream, I think because people's perception of me was so strongly associated with the character I played. When I did The Partridge Family, I didn't actually think that people would believe that I was that sort of airhead, shallow guy who was concerned about blow-drying his hair, you know?
Yeah. But also the music that they told me you were listening to Jimi Hendrix, and you were singing these other lyrics. So that ever get you just crazy?
Well, at the time, when I would go in and I would work with, it was very difficult for me because, again, people's perception was I was that guy. It was David Cassidy out there playing the guitar. It was my name that was on the records. So obviously that must be me.
Yeah.
And, it was difficult.
The whole Partridge Family, like everything else, what looks like something on the surface is so different.
Yeah.
Danny Bonaducci was into drugs that time, and Susan Day was an anorexic. I mean, did you know all this when that was going on? Did you know it? Or were you just like drifting through it going on?
No. It's a funny thing. I was, in a way, I was kind of unconscious, I guess, and so wrapped up in myself. I think that because I got up and worked from 6 until midnight. I worked all day, like 13 hours a day on the show, and then I would go and make the records. So I became oblivious, and I became sort of insulated in my own world. Danny actually he really looked up to me, and I think that because of his own particular home life, I think he had an awful lot of a need to be accepted, and peer pressure. A lot of my own frustration about my work, about the fact that we made some really good records. Partridge Family made some great records. They weren't the records I wanted to make. But part of my frustration was that people perceived me as this young pop, sort of bubblegum guy, and I was much different and much more complex than that. And as I loved creating the character, and I loved the polarization that Susan Day and I had on the show, it really worked. That's where the comedy was in the show. I became more and more, I think, disillusioned about carrying on and perpetuating that image. And I became really lost in the fame, and when you become that successful and people really aren't able to deal with you as you, they look at you as this thing, and this sort of demigod, I guess.
But we have a lady in the audience who tried to win a date with you 18 years ago.
Yeah.
You understand? 18 years she's been waiting around.
Never too late, you know.
Do you want to find out a little bit about her? She won a date. Let's get
We went out on a date.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
Hi, David.
You're
Patty Macy.
Patty Macy, and you entered, what was the name?
Tiger Beat Dream Day contest.
Tiger Beat.
Early 70s.
Oh, that name, and it was to win a date with David.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I didn't win. I was 8, and I was underage. So.
Were you a virgin?
Yes.
I just have to say that this is such a perfect segue from breast reduction to teenage sex to David Cassidy. You're doing so much for my image. Now, Patty, can I just recreate our date? Because
did you finally go out?
we did go on a little bit of a dream date, Patty and I, not 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
How?
Well, we started off, and I planned the whole thing. We started off taking the subway. Did we not?
Sure.
Yeah, we took the subway. First, I think we went to the Automat.
The Automat?
Dreamy.
Dreaming.
Oh.
Did a little dancing at the Automat. In fact, the Automat was closed on this particular day. Then I think we went to, what's that place on 8th Avenue?
Serendipity.
Oh, no, the place on 8th Avenue.
He took me to show.
I took her to show.
It's bad. It's a porn theater.
Yeah. I took her to the porn
And you
theater.
went, Patty?
I wouldn't go in. I said, David, think of your fans. Think of your
Exactly.
reputation.
Yeah.
So,
And then where did you end up?
We ended up at Serendipity sharing a chocolate soda.
That's not, all right, that's sweet.
It was really dreamy, wasn't it?
it was.
Are you single now?
And, well, if I wasn't before this show, I certainly am now. Yeah, I am single, but Patty was writing for a paper, exactly.
Yeah,
We did an interview.
I think you're adorable. I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
The record is called, very simply, David Cassidy.
Very simple.
Very simple,
Thank you.
very smart to tell.